Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mouse Cheers. Cheers.
How you doing, John?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Just like,
Sometimes it burns on the way down, but that's okay.
yeah.
You
Was
know,
it Makers?
that's Makers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love me some Makers.
It's really good.
You know what I would do for some Makers. But
Yeah.
what do you have for lunch today?
I had breakfast for lunch, really.
Oh, you're one of those people?
Yeah, on the weekend, yeah.
So it's strictly a weekend thing.
Yeah.
Do you breakfast for dinner ever?
No, but I'm not against it, and I have in the past.
I am against it.
Why?
I'm not a breakfast guy.
Oh, right. I knew that.
And not only am I not hungry in the morning, and that's a big reason why I'm not a breakfast guy, but I'm not a breakfast food guy.
Okay. You know what I feel is hit and miss at a breakfast restaurant is bacon and pancakes. Those are hit and miss, big time. I ordered my go-to. It's an omelet, and a side of bacon.
Okay.
And I'm like, this particular place gives you kind of a lot of bacon. I'm like, guys, this is for the whole table. I'm ordering bacon, but this is for everybody. They come to the table and drop the whole plate of bacon on the floor. Like the plate's still in their hand, but all the bacon fell on the floor. And the bacon looked really good. But what happened was they rushed to the next order of bacon, and it came out looking just awful. And it wasn't that good. It was like underdone. It's like
That's a great story.
and I'm like the bacon that was ruined looked amazing.
So I know where you're coming from with the bacon,
Yeah.
but as a non-pancake eater, I don't know where you're coming from with that.
Well, you got
Isn't
your
a pancake a pancake?
Oh, a pancake is a pancake, but you can overcook it, or it could be raw. So it's in some spots. It could be too thin. It could be too, like if you go into crepe territory, I don't really care.
So-
but then if it's like too thick and like dry, you know what I mean?
Is a crepe just a pancake?
A crepe is just a pancake in my opinion, yes, because it's a pancake. It's a thin pancake.
I don't love that news because I crepe, but I don't pancake.
Well, no, that's okay because I pancake, but I don't really crepe. So they're
Interesting.
They're different. So if I get if I order a pancake, it comes out thinner. I like it less.
I had a strawberry cream bourbon crepe
At Aristocrapes,
at Aristocrapes, Disney Springs.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. What a nice, on a hot night,
Yeah.
what a nice treat.
I tried strawberry cream. I think it's strawberry cream cheese crepe, and it was fine, but I would never it's not a go-to for me. And I've also had crepes that are savory, like ham and cheese crepe. I've had a ham and cheese crepe.
I think you're just not having the right crepes. When you're having a crepe,
I'm open to believing that.
I think when it comes to crepes, because I would not eat that. And I ham and cheese selectively. Like, I'll never have, a cold-cut ham and cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
But, if you, under certain circumstances, I would eat a hot ham and cheese or whatever. So, I mean, it's not off the table.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're looking at a crepe for what it is, I think if you tried this strawberry cream bourbon one, I think you would like it.
I absolutely. Crepe is a very interesting food where I'm it's kind of now I'm gonna forget the name. The stick desserts.
The churro?
Churro. It's kind of like churro for me, where I've never had a good one, but I think I like it.
Yeah.
So I've never loved a crepe, but I think that I don't dislike
that's
crepes.
a great example because
Yeah.
I know exactly where you're coming from
Yeah.
with that. Yeah. And have we talked about candy apples?
I talked about a candy apple on our $100 episode.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
and you don't care for, or you recently had a candy apple or something like that.
Nah, I haven't had a candy apple. In fact, I don't think I've ever had a candy apple at Disney World.
Interesting.
But my buddy, Joe, who was on the
he'll
podcast,
always get
he
it.
gets one. That's his thing.
Do you caramel apple?
Well, no, that's what I mean by candy apples, caramel apple.
They're different.
Okay. One's like a legit layer of candy. I'd rather do a caramel apple than a candy apple all day.
Right. And also it comes like a whole apple, right? Like you have to.
No,
because I don't eat apples like that.
No, they cut the core out. They give you the slices.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you know what? I would do that.
So part of the reason you don't love it is because of the logistics of eating it.
Yeah.
Much like a turkey leg.
Much like a turkey leg, but here's the thing, because I love apples. I'm
apples.
I'm an apple guy.
Yeah, me too.
I honestly don't eat apples often, but I would go as far as to say I love apples.
Yeah.
But that is what stops me most of the time from ever getting an apple.
Mm-hmm.
It's uncomfortable to like eat like that. And let me also bring this up.
Mm-hmm.
Is it still a thing that the common saying, "Bring your teacher an apple"? Is that still a thing? Do you know?
I don't know, but while it was in the animated version of Pinocchio, he has an apple that he brings to the teacher, and then the recent remake, he also has an apple.
Yeah,
that he brings. I don't know. I don't know if it's a thing anymore. Because, that it's a recent remake, but it's still trying to be back in the day. So
I know that.
I don't think it's a thing.
I know I have in my life brought in an apple to a teacher, but I was much younger, and it was a different time.
Guaranteed.
And you know what? When Pinocchio was made, that was a different time too.
It was a different
Even
time.
the remake, like
that
they're
teacher
not.
did not eat your apple.
Oh, I believe. I 100%
If a kid handed me an apple,
would not eat that.
I would not eat it.
And here's the thing about the remake, because it's not, though it changed some things. I don't think it's going to change the Apple thing due to the times, just because it's gonna copy the original in that sense. Like, even if it's not, do you know what I mean?
No, absolutely. You copy the original in that sense, but then not in other senses. So let's talk about Pinocchio for a minute.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about Pinocchio for a while.
Okay.
You kind of like the remake.
I do. I liked it, or at least let me say this: I don't think it deserved the hate it got.
Okay.
I don't love it. It definitely had its problems, but it got a lot more hate than I think it deserved, and I'm ready to talk about it.
Okay. I didn't like it. But I do agree with you. I don't think it deserves like ton of hate or anything. But I definitely think there's a problem, and I'm not the type of guy who's like, oh, Disney live action is tired. Don't do it. Why are they doing this? What's the point?
I'm kind of that guy.
He's kind of that guy, and that's fine. The reason I'm not that guy is because when I was a kid and I was growing up with all these Disney movies in the Renaissance era, I'm like, when I'm playing outside, I'm playing in the ocean, whatever, I'm like, oh, in my head, in my imagination, I'm playing out the live-action Little Mermaid. I'm playing out the live-action Aladdin. Like, that's what I'm doing when I'm playing outside using my imagination.
Yeah.
So to see them being made now is fascinating to me, and I do enjoy them to an extent.
Right.
I don't hate all the live-action. In fact, I like many of the live-actions. Right. Are they better than the original? No. But is it awesome that they exist? I think yes.
Interesting.
Even Pinocchio, even though I don't love it, it's cool that they made it. We could talk all day about live action. Maybe we could plug them one by one. But
yeah. So let me just say, I watched the live action.
Yeah.
Then I went back and I watched the original.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those where we were actually supposed to talk about this a few weeks ago. But, I was adamant I wanted to watch
the animated
again. Animated. I was waiting. Watched it with shout out Amanda. I told her I shout her out.
Shout out. Cheers to Amanda. Cheers.
Cheers. Right.
Cheers.
So here's the thing. Definitely, the remake definitely not better than the original. However, before we start talking what's so great about the original,
Yeah.
let me talk about what's great about the remake.
Oh, really? You want to go that route first?
I do.
Okay. Say your greatness about the remake.
Tom Hanks is charming.
Agreed.
They changed some things. I'm okay with the changes because I understand that it's not going to be a shot-for-shot remake because even though, I would be fine with that too, the majority of people would not.
Right. But it seems the majority of the people are not too fond of what's happening anyway.
So I guess this is a hard situation to be in. Tom Hanks is charming nonetheless. And you know what? I like the idea that he did have a son. Spoiler alert, by the way. That he did have a son that had passed, and he just misses him. I did like that idea. It hit me right in the feels. Thoughts? Oh, by the way, there's something I have to tell you later. Like, it's kind of serious, actually.
Like on the podcast?
No. Like, later. But this just reminded me of it.
Okay. You don't have a son, right?
Oh, no.
Okay. So, yeah, Tom Hanks, charming, whereas some people might disagree with that as well, his performance. I liked it just fine. The son thing, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I didn't hate it. I'm okay with it. I'm willing to talk about, like, delve in. I kind of want to talk about the good first. For sure, that we could go. It could be like an honorary uncredited critic episode.
Right.
Cheers to uncredited critic. Check him out on Spotify. He's doing mouse cheers nowadays. So
yeah. So anyway.
Yeah. So you go on, or did you say everything good about?
I said one thing.
Yeah, I know.
No, I have more to say.
Go on.
Tom Hanks is charming.
Yeah.
I very much enjoyed the animation on Pinocchio.
Yeah, me too. Because a lot of people were like, well, the new Sonic movie, or not even the new Sonic movie anymore, the Sonic movie. When the first rendition of the animation on that, everybody's like, "What are you doing? It looks horrible. It looks horrifying." And they changed it to look more like the video game, and everybody's like, "Yeah."
Right.
And they just went right for it with Pinocchio. They just basically it's the animated Pinocchio.
Right. I think they did a very fair job when it came to the land they went to, the amusement park.
Pleasure Island.
I think they did a good job with Pleasure Island.
I actually think that was well done too. Did you know? So the guy that was driving him there, and then he popped up and was like, blah blah blah. That's Gaston.
Oh,
from live action Beauty and the Beast.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he's kind of like, he has like this little song.
Yeah, unfortunately that falls into things I don't care for.
I didn't love that.
Yeah.
But, like the actor is cool, whatever. But, and he kept popping up and stuff. I thought that was kind of cool that actor was doing that.
Right. What do you think of Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Jiminy Cricket?
Jiminy Cricket.
I think he did awesome.
He did do awesome.
Yeah, I think he did awesome. Surprisingly so.
Yeah, though I have some problems, which we'll get into with the character Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
I have problems.
But we'll get into that. So I thought all of Pleasure Island was very good, and I thought Monstro was very good too. There were a few things I didn't care for, but ultimately. And I mean, like, not before Monstro, like, I didn't care for most of the ocean part, let me just say. let me get that out of the way, so there's no confusion. Most of the time when they were at sea, didn't care for, but the Monstro part I liked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what? Honestly, a lot, though they changed a lot was true to the original. It was a shot for shot in some points.
You're right. And it's almost hard to pinpoint, but I think some of the changes were so jarring and so, like, even though it was shot for the most part, certain changes completely eliminated certain character points, certain motivations, and certain heartfelt moments. So we'll talk about that.
Right.
So the original starts with When You Wish Upon a Star.
It's a lot of people's favorite Disney song.
Basically, it's the theme song of Disney.
Yeah.
Every time you start a Disney movie and you see the castle, it plays that When You Wish Upon a Star melody. And there's no voice. Well, I guess Joseph Gordon-Levitt can do it pretty good. But, come on. Jiminy Cricket voice?
Oh, yeah.
That is so classic.
Oh, yeah.
And
can you do it right now?
no, Pinocchio. I don't think I can, and I can't. So I hate being put on the spot. But classic voice. Oh, fun question. What other canon Disney movie did Jiminy Cricket show up in? And like. Not just showed up, but stayed for a while.
I'm blanking.
Yeah. It was a Disney animated classic.
Well, was it newer?
No.
Oh.
Let me just give you a hint, because it was part of the wartime era.
Oh. Honestly, it would just be a guess then, because honestly, I missed out on most of those movies.
Oh, did you? You didn't see them?
No. Fun and Fancy Free.
It is Fun and Fancy Free.
That was a guess.
Okay. He narrates. He sings it and he narrates it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Weird. But, that voice. And obviously Wishes at Disney World. Or, R.I.P. R.I.P. Wishes. Yeah, Stings. But
Stings
the Jiminy
still.
voice.
It's been years. Stings still.
I know. The Jiminy voice is there, narrating that whole thing. Just a complete class act. And I love Jiminy Cricket, the character. One of my favorite Disney characters.
Let's talk about Pinocchio as a whole, though.
Okay.
For a moment, because it's a doozy of a story.
Doozy of a story.
It's a doozy of a story. Would not be made today.
Would not be made today, though it was made today.
Only because the original was a thing.
And they changed stuff.
They changed some really bad stuff.
So, you know what? While we walk through the animated, I'm willing to do, spot-by-spot comparisons to the new. Because I feel like I have a lot to say, with certain scenes, and why some don't work. Yeah. So Pinocchio as a whole, you're just saying.
Yeah, just saying. Because let's talk about what we're dealing with here.
Yeah,
we're talking about child abduction.
Yeah,
we're talking about, on the lighter scale of things, lying, being deceived, and whatnot. We're talking about tobacco products. We're talking about children and
drinking,
tobacco products,
smoking,
alcohol.
Yeah.
It's child slavery.
Right. Yeah. No, it's crazy. And the only reason, he's a puppet, I guess, so it's fine. But there were literally kids smoking.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And, and they were not smoking in the new one. So,
and they were drinking root beer.
And they were drinking root
beer. They were
beer.
drinking beer.
Well, at a certain point in the new one, at a certain point in the new one, I'm like, place looks awesome, and they're not doing anything wrong.
What a
they're drinking root beer and they're at an amusement park. But then they start breaking stuff. Vandal. It was.
I loved the depiction of.
Yeah. No,
I loved it.
It was well done.
Yeah,
I'll say that it was well done.
And also, let me go a little bit further. But Pinocchio's reaction to it was a lot better than in the original.
Oh, I disagree.
Really?
I strongly disagree. The whole point. All right. Well, okay. So this is why we got to kind of try to keep linear. But I'll say this now: The whole point of Jiminy being the conscience is because Pinocchio needs a conscience because he's so naive and he really goes along with what people are convincing him to do. So when he's with Lampwick, in the new one, Lampwick's all like, yeah, Pinocchio, or Pinocchs, or whatever he calls him. Or, what does he call him? Pinocchs?
Pinocchs.
Yeah, so in the new one, Pinocchs. And Pinocchio is like, I don't know if we should be doing this. It's like, so it's like Pinocchio knows deep inside that what they're doing is wrong. And he's not only knows, but he's like trying to guide them away from it. In the old one, in the original one, he's like, no problem, Lampy. Let me, let me smoke this cigar. Let me do this. Hey, blah blah blah. He's completely like wrapped up in it, and he's completely what do you call?
I hear where you're coming from. But let me counter this.
Yeah.
And say when he's first being deceived by
Lampwick?
The fox.
Honest John.
Honest John.
Yeah.
When he's first being deceived by Honest John, couldn't be, playing along to 100%, thinks this is normal, no conscience, like you said, going along. At this point in Adventureland, though, Adventureland? No, Pleasure Island. At this point in Pleasure Island, though, what have we been through? We've been through that deceit. We've been through being locked in the cage and the fairy, we're talking original right now.
Yeah.
And the fairy helping him out. We've been through so much that by the time he gets to Pleasure Island, I think there's a little bit in his head going, now I still don't have a conscience. I still need help. I'm still being deceived, but something's not right.
But I'm learning a little.
And that's what I saw in his face in the new one.
Okay.
It's later in the movie. He's been through all this stuff, and he's just looking around, and he's like, this isn't right. But he still does it. That's what I liked about it.
Okay.
It showed a little progression.
I appreciate your opinion, your stance on it. I appreciate, and I read it. I still prefer the original, but I get what you're saying. Respect.
There we go.
So to hark back to the beginning of the movie, though, the first 20 minutes of the movie is one giant scene. Jiminy Cricket hops into Geppetto's, makes himself at home. The really good, like, classic Disney stuff with the clocks. Classic, like, reminds you of, like, the Silly Symphonies almost.
Right.
With, like, some clock stuff. And then, he finishes the puppet, says goodnight to the fish, says goodnight to Figaro, makes a wish. The blue fairy comes, makes Pinocchio a real puppet, like a living puppet. And then there's this whole, like, wake-up scene where he almost, like, shoots. He grabs the gun. He's, like, all scared. And then he gets all happy. There's jovilant music, blah, blah, blah. And then he, like, sets himself on fire. Pinocchio sets himself on fire. He touches a candle. He's like, oh, pretty. And then after that, they're like, okay, let's calm down. Let's go to bed. We're going to go to school tomorrow. All that stuff. That was like this 20-minute scene, and it's all from like the narrator's perspective, which is Jiminy Cricket, and I just think it's an amazing 20 minutes of animation.
Right.
Do you agree?
I completely agree. And, as far as you have to know what to look for in this style of animation because it is old animation.
Yeah.
So what you're looking at in those scenes, which I love to pieces, and for anyone who has watched any sort of Disney documentary about the making of these older movies will know, but a lot of that, especially any town scene that it pans through, is a painting. And the camera literally just moves across the painting.
It's amazing.
And once you know that information and you're looking for it, you can see it. And honestly, the pure talent. It's mind-blowing. So that alone, the new one, this whole animated world, that's not as impressive to me.
No, true. Very true. In fact, arguably nothing created today really
Right.
is as impressive as old
Right.
style Disney.
This is
the second animated movie ever after Snow
yeah.
White.
And this is a big deal. And this is I don't want to, I don't know if this is true or not, but this is almost like saying, this is what I want to do, don't know how to do it, make it work.
Right. And then they figure it out.
Right.
And they make it work. I swear Disney was all about that. It's like, this is what we're going to do. If you could dream it, you could do it. Let's do it. And they did it. And it's crazy stuff. Since we're on the topic of that first scene, we get the, once the blue fairy comes. Okay. Well, let's talk about the blue fairy, because literally Blue Fairy makes appearances throughout the animated, where she's literally just in one scene in the new one.
Yeah, they really done the Blue Fairy wrong.
I agree.
New one. They done the Blue Fairy wrong,
and I think that the person playing the Blue Fairy did a good job.
She did a very good job. Unfortunately, I don't remember her name, but
don't remember her song either, really.
Well, it was "When You Wish Upon a Star." She sang.
That's what she sang?
Yeah.
Didn't she sing something else?
I don't remember. I saw it once.
Didn't Tom Hanks sing something?
He did.
That was not anything.
No, I like that song.
Yeah, it was all good.
It was nice.
You know what it reminded me? You know what it reminded me of? In the live action Beauty and the Beast, when Maurice has this song before Belle comes in when you're meeting Maurice. I like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. It just didn't have as much heart to it.
Okay. We'll talk about Beauty and the Beast another time.
Yeah, but shout out to Kevin.
Kevin Kline.
Kevin Kline.
Cheers to Kevin.
Cheers to Kevin Kline.
I love Kevin Kline. Come on.
Kevin Kline, we love you. So here's
cheers.
Here's the thing. She did sing "When You Wish Upon a Star." She could have sang something else. I don't remember. She was done wrong. However, going again, I know we're jumping back and forth.
No, it's good.
But she was the reason they were able to get Pinocchio out of the cage.
No, yes. And that, okay, so this is where we're going with this topic. I need to add a little something before we continue, and we'll get right back to it. Jiminy Cricket has been appointed the conscience. He sings an important song, Give a Little Whistle.
Yep.
If you need me, give a little whistle.
Give a little whistle.
If you're concerned, give a little whistle.
Can he whistle? He can whistle.
So in this version, in the new version, because when Pinocchio was locked in the cage by Stromboli,
yep,
he's whistling, Jiminy. In this version, he that's not a thing. There's no whistle. No. Jiminy gets trapped under a jar,
which I hated, by the way.
And then he just so happens, the cart goes by and flings a rock and it knocks over the jar, and he just so happens
convenient.
I was not a fan of that. I wasn't a fan of that.
Stupid.
I'm like, do the whistle song.
Right.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt could have probably done that awesome.
Yeah.
Fun fact, what was Joseph Gordon-Levitt? He voiced a lead in one of Disney animated classic. What was it?
I feel like I know this because I'm cheers to Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I'm a big fan.
Cheers.
But what is it?
Treasure Planet.
Oh.
He's the voice of that.
I didn't care for Treasure Planet.
I like Treasure Planet just fine. It has its flaws, but
oh yeah,
another time, another talk. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the way they did Jiminy in that, and I just really feel they underplayed the whole conscience thing. It's like, he would have been there, but he was in a jar.
Yeah.
Well, what about the whistle? Do the whistle.
Do the whistle, and let's talk about another travesty really quick. Let's talk about how he got out of the cage. Do you remember how he got out of the cage?
Refresh my memory.
A girl wooden puppet comes down.
Oh, yeah. How did I forget?
So there's another puppet character. This one's a female. She's a ballerine dancer being controlled. But this one isn't alive. This is being controlled by another woman.
Yeah, very odd character. Like in any other movie, I feel I'd like this character just fine. Because it wasn't badly done, and the actress was good.
Yeah, nothing against them. It's just when it comes to something that you know and love, and you change it that drastically, people gonna be hating.
Yeah. Plus, this new character, which ended up being like a convenience factor because like oh we didn't do the whistle song, oh we're gonna have to create a character,
Right.
or at the end when he's looking for Monstro, it seems that Stromboli has found them, but no, it's that puppet, and they're like, oh hey, we finally took over, and Stromboli's like in prison or something like that. It's like, you want to join us? He's like, nah. He's like, all right, anytime. Or I forget how it went.
So and yeah, so that was classic. But let me back up a little bit to when we first meet this character.
Yeah.
So essentially, if I'm correct, and I might be a little wrong because I only saw it once, I don't really remember, but this is the general gist. She was a performer in Stromboli's act.
Yes.
And her talent was the puppet because she's crippled of some sort.
Yeah.
So she had a puppet, and that was her talent, right? And she was getting along with Pinocchio until Stromboli locked him in a cage, and then he was like, oh, okay, can't trust humans, period. And that's why the girl puppet became such a prominent role, because, oh, if he won't trust a human, he'll trust my puppet.
Okay. I don't know about it. I think that it was like, obviously people worked on this movie and like really thought it out, but I just don't follow. I don't feel it.
Yeah.
And then at the end, like the last time he sees them, they both say bye.
That was
There's
so
two voices.
weird.
Like, what?
That was so weird.
Like, what?
So the whole time, this a girl is controlling the puppet 100%.
Yeah.
100% with the strings and the voice and whatnot, and you can see her mouthing the words and whatnot.
Yeah. She's doing the marionette thing, or she's not.
Like, marionette and whatnot. At the end, she says bye. Then the puppet says bye. Not marionetting anything.
This is real weird.
It was weird. It threw me off. Probably one of the worst things about the movie.
Yeah. And it's a shame because,
if I'm being real,
it's because like, what, let's not put the blue fairy in to give him a hey, this, you get one, a boy, what was it, who doesn't tell the truth, who lies might as well be made of pine. What was that saying?
Yeah, sure.
Something like that.
I don't know.
But it was just a good, like, Jiminy was there trying to get the lock unlocked, and then the blue fairy appears, says what happens, and Pinocchio's just lying to the fairy, and then fairy says, listen, don't lie, watch yourself, but you get one, and she magically sets him out. I think that was nice. They could have gone a different route, but you have the character, you have the blue fairy,
right?
And they only utilized her in the beginning. I think she may have done a voiceover later, but yeah. So, but also at the beginning where Geppetto is like, "Hey, I think it's time you go to school."
It seemed very quick and forced.
And then when he goes to school, he gets kicked out because he's a puppet and not a person.
Right.
So I'm just like, Geppetto, why did you look at a wooden puppet and say, I think it's time you go to school?
Yeah.
Why'd you do that?
Yeah.
So you don't really need, in the animated, it's like fantasy. Like, he's on his way to school. He never makes it there because of Honest John and
what's his name?
Gideon.
His name?
It's Gideon.
There we go.
Yeah. Honest John and Gideon. He doesn't make it to school. So we don't see all that. So why did we need to see him say, hey, you should go to school? Why do we need to see him go to school and get kicked out, and then Jiminy gets trapped under a pickle jar or whatever? I don't understand why we needed to see that.
I hear you. I hear you. And I got nothing to say. I got nothing to say about it. You're right. You're right. The movie wasn't great.
Yeah.
It's just I liked it more than Jon.
We may agree on more than we don't disagree on, which is fine.
Yeah.
Little shout out to the clocks, though.
Cheers to the clocks.
There was a lot of little Easter eggs in the clocks.
Here's okay, yeah, yes, but also, Disney World,
yes.
Epcot,
Oh yeah,
Germany,
yeah.
the cuckoo clocks.
Cheers
to them.
Cheers to the cuckoo
And
clocks. One of my favorites.
Here's the thing: if you want an authentic German cuckoo clock, you're gonna pay a pretty penny.
Yeah.
So I thought, little quick story.
Yeah.
We do a work Secret Santa every year.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny that instead of just guessing what someone would want, or maybe getting like a whatever gift, like a candle that would apply to most people, I thought it'd be funny if I go all in on one thing, and like if you're really into it, you have a great gift. If you're not, it'll be funny.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'm gonna get this person a cuckoo clock, right, dude? They're super expensive. Like if you want like a nice like authentic German cuckoo clock, you're gonna pay a pretty penny.
Yeah, and the clock store in Germany actually housed an annual pass, like super discounted thing. Like they're like everything's 60% off in this store. Everything's 60%. I walked in there. I'm like, I'm buying a clock, 100%. You're listening to the story saying, well, in your head, you're like, well, Jon, you don't have a clock.
That's exactly what's going on in my head. Yes.
So I asked, I'm like, does that? It's everything in the store. They're like, everything in the store. I'm like, oh my God. And then I asked another customer, is that the clocks? The clocks are 60% off. I like chose out my clock and everything. And they're like, oh no, not the clocks. I'm like, well, hold on.
What?
I said everything in the store. They're like, oh, let me just double check. No, not the clocks. I'm like, well, don't say everything in the store
That's
if it's not going to be the clocks.
Because
I really want a cuckoo clock, but like, no, I'm a clock enthusiast.
You clock.
I clock. I don't watch.
Oh, I watch.
I can see that.
I watch. Well, this is a Fitbit.
Yeah, but does that have the time on it?
It does. I never check it though.
Yeah, but you have the time on both your wrists.
Well, here's the thing, because I don't know if we've ever talked about this, so this will be fun. So, the Fitbit I won for free at work.
Oh, nice.
And it just I like to wear it because it monitors how I sleep, and I think that's fun.
Can that tell you if you had sleep apnea? Would that tell you?
I can show you my whole app, and it tells me like how much times I've woken up throughout the night and whatnot.
Does it tell you how many times you like hold your breath for like long periods of time?
Well, no,
because that's like sleep apnea.
So
you like
it like tells me like how many times I woke up.
Yeah.
Light sleep, heavy sleep, REM, and it tells me in a line graph, right? And among other things, heartbeat, steps, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mainly do it for the sleep because I find it fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
I never look at it. It does have the time on it. I never look at it for the time. Mm-hmm. I always use my analog watch. Which,
is that a Disney one?
Yeah. The only thing Disney about it is the 12 is a Mickey head.
That subtle Disney is classy. I love it.
It's classy.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I'm super picky about watches.
Yeah.
When it's time to get a new watch, bad time.
Yeah, I couldn't do one like that.
Yeah,
my hair.
And here's the thing. Well, okay, we have a lot to talk about right now. We have a lot to unpack because this chain doesn't pull my hair. That's I have awesome. Had some that does pull the hair. It's the worst. This chain does not pull my hair, and
so Dad used to have.
Those are ridiculous.
Those are awful, and he's hairier than us.
Yeah.
I don't even get how he did it.
Crazy guy.
Yeah.
Crazy guy.
Yes, indeed.
But I have a watch guy. Do you know about my watch guy?
I don't know about your watch guy.
I have a watch guy.
Didn't know
Visiting him is my favorite thing in the world. Because some people, without trying, are my favorite people. Just in the whole world. Yeah. I love him more than I love you. I'm sorry. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
He's so funny, and he doesn't know I love him so much. He has a monocle. I go in.
He has a monocle?
He has a monocle.
I'm sold.
So I go in, and what was the problem? Oh, it fell off my wrist recently.
Really?
It fell off my wrist. A little band broke, and the whole thing fell off my wrist, so I brought it to my watch guy. Cheers to you. I don't know your name. I'm sorry.
He loves you more than me.
Well,
he doesn't know your name.
He's not really like. He's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
Anyone who wears a monocle is an interesting guy.
I agree.
So like, he's not like
crazy.
a sociable guy.
Yeah.
And some people might even find him a little rude, but like, I'm standing there going, "This is the best person I've ever met in my life." But anyway, bring it to my watch guy.
Yeah.
I go, "Hey, can you just fix this? Maybe it needs a battery. I don't know." He's looking at it. He's like, "Oh yeah, I can fix that, no problem. And this doesn't need a battery. This is made in Japan. This is what you have to do is if you wear it all the time." And he just starts telling me about the watch. First time he's ever seen it.
This guy loves watches.
Yeah,
this guy loves time.
His life is time.
Yeah,
his life is time. So anyway, he fixes it, puts down his monocle, fixes it right, and no charge. I was like, "Oh, thanks, good
What a guy.
What a guy." He was like. I was like, let me give you a little something. He was like, "Oh, I did nothing. I just changed. I just did this. I just did it. It's nothing." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So, great guy. But had it come to a time where I need a new watch, which it has, because this is my second watch, it takes forever.
Yeah.
It takes forever because I'm so picky. Watches are... Maybe people like watches for looks or the more expensive they are, a social status maybe. I don't know. But I have a checklist I have to check off, and 90% of watches don't complete my checklist.
Yeah.
It's true.
Fair enough. The only watch I ever bought was an Apple Watch, and I'm like, I don't know.
I also don't Apple Watch, And
I don't love it.
Here's the thing about those watches too. One, I like analog.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be lazy.
There's something about I want to love watches because I love time. I love clocks. I own numerous pocket watches, and I own my Apple Watch. I love time.
Here's the thing about the Apple Watch, and then we'll go on to the Pocket Watch. I love the analog. I don't want to be lazy. There are kids today that can't read an analog clock.
Right, and that's
be lazy.
Too bad.
Don't be lazy. Love an analog clock. I don't need notifications coming to my wrist every time I get a text message.
You're correct.
My phone is already distracting enough. I don't need it on my wrist.
Agreed.
Hate that. And as far as, taking it off the charger or whatever, this is on my wrist at all times.
Right, you don't need to charge it.
Right.
Whereas the Apple Watch, you got to take it off, put it on the charger thing.
Yeah. And if I had an Apple Watch, I wouldn't have a watch guy.
True.
He doesn't do Apple Watches.
Yeah. Yeah, because those aren't real watches, really. It's a phone on your wrist.
Right.
I got an Apple Watch because I was playing Pokemon Go. So I wanted to do the steps. I wanted to do the walk. But it also had a Mickey analog screen, and I loved it. And you press the thing and be like, it's 12:59. So I liked that.
You've
and that's
done
why
2
I got
impressions this podcast.
Yeah, and they were both like the same voice, and they were both not correct. So yeah, I love it. What's your opinion on Pocket Watch? You like?
So it's very classy.
Yeah,
I like a classy Pocket Watch.
Pocket Watch and monocle are in the same family, but monocle's a little.
But here's the thing with the Pocket Watch. You see, because a lot of the time when I look at the watch, I'm looking at the time. But if I look at my watch and then you go, "What time is it?" I have to look again because I'm not really looking at the time. I'm more looking at how much time has passed since the last time I looked at my watch. I'm just getting a quick gist of how much time has passed throughout my day.
Oh, no doubt. Oh, and you better believe if I'm looking at my pocket watch like this, I'm not looking at the time.
Exactly.
I'm looking at my pocket watch.
So here's the thing. That when it comes to the pocket watch, it's a classy thing, yes, but you would need to... It's for people that wear suits on a regular.
Oh, no doubt.
It's for people who need to know the time are not going to wear a wristwatch, have a pocket watch. What time is it? Boom. It serves a purpose.
Yes, it does.
I have a few pocket watches myself. Love my pocket watches.
Yeah.
Never wear them, never look at them.
Right. But if you're in like a wedding party or something,
Wedding
you'll
party
wear
is a part of it. Never look at it to tell the time.
No,
though.
no way.
So it's a lifestyle thing, and it's not my lifestyle.
I bought my first pocket watch when I was in a show, in a play, Guys and Dolls. Yes, Benny South Street. So I bought one for myself because I wanted it, and I've gotten one in a wedding party as well. You ever bought clearly not. You're a watch guy. You've never bought a watch in Disney Springs at the watch store. It's crazy. Have you ever just walked through there? It's a trip.
It doesn't ring a bell.
Like there's next time we're down there, like we gotta look in that store. There's a lot of crazy watches, but salespeople in there, so watch out.
I don't get along with salespeople when it comes to jewelry. Well, salespeople in general mostly, but especially when it comes to jewelry, especially when it comes to watches. I'm not. I'm gonna just say what I'm gonna say, but I don't mean it how arrogant it's gonna come out. I'm not an unintelligent person.
Fair enough.
I don't need you to tell me what I want or what I need or how good a product is.
Right. You're talking to me to steer your agenda, and you need a quota.
Right.
That's the only reason you're talking to me.
Yeah. And I've gotten upset at a few people before.
Yeah.
Because specifically, I know we're veering off a little bit, but
a little bit,
but jewelry when it comes to like purchasing for girls.
Yeah.
You walk in and the female sales, usually females, go, "Oh, another guy. Oh, another stupid guy."
Maybe, yeah.
It's like, come on, I'm not another stupid guy. I know what I want. I know what I'm looking for. I can probably tell you more about what I want than you can tell me, So I've gotten upset at a few people that I'm a little proud of. And as far as watches go, though, I'm so picky. Don't even try.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even try. I know exactly what I want.
Yeah. Great commentary there.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
What on earth brought us to this?
Cuckoo clocks.
Cuckoo clock.
Geppetto's clocks. Shout out to those Easter eggs. Those were charming. I love those.
Very charming. So,
yeah.
Yeah. So, did you have something to add?
No, I was gonna move on.
Oh, okay. So the next worst thing in the remake of Pinocchio is when they're going to Pleasure Island, and the guy starts singing.
Yeah, that was weird.
Don't know what that song was.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
And at first I didn't know it was the actor, so I'm like, what is this? Some random guy singing?
Right. Now, it might be fine for some kid that's seeing it for the first time, maybe hasn't even seen the original.
Yeah.
I understand how it's family-friendly, how it might be a little catchy or whatever. I am a music snob.
Yeah.
I know it. It's been said to me.
Yeah.
I know it. Not a fan.
Fair enough.
Not a fan.
Just before we go on, like I'm willing to go right on to Pleasure Island, but I just want to say two things. I thought Honest John was played well, like what was it, Keegan-Michael Key?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I thought that he was played well, and I thought that Stromboli was played well.
I disagree with that.
Oh, really?
I thought Stromboli was not played well.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, I'm glad you brought it up because I really didn't like Stromboli.
Oh, see, I was fine with him.
What did you like about him?
I thought that his costume and makeup was good, and I thought he acted pretty good. When he was.
Oh, I thought it was a bit campy. I thought it was a bit cheesy. I thought now.
But it's a live action Stromboli.
I guess. Well, I guess.
I don't know.
No.
That's me just leaving like, come on.
No,
come on, Andrew.
No. Because here's the thing. The movie gets so much worse so quick with Pleasure Island. If you're because ultimately Stromboli's a bad guy, but he's not like a I'll kill your whole family kind of guy.
But he's like a child slavery guy.
But there are, you can play it up a little bit, at least to where the cartoon did.
Right.
Whereas this played it down, played it odd.
Yeah.
played it wrong, where I don't think it would have been any more. Now, I understand you can get away with a lot more in animation than you can do live action. I get that. However, I don't see it in this situation. I think it would have been fine. He's an evil guy, yeah, but if he did exactly what he did and no more than the original animation, what's the problem here?
No, you're right.
Freaking kids in Pleasure Island going crazy, throwing rocks at each other.
Right, and they needed to do something to make Pleasure Island bad because there was no drinking, there was no smoking. It was like a free-for-all unsupervised. But I'm like, okay, yeah, it's unsupervised and people are like vandalizing a little, but what's so bad about it? And then they start like kind of picking on each other and stuff. It became like that. And again, I just got to bring it up one more time because in the original, Jiminy finds Pinocchio and he's like, Pinocchio, what are you doing? So it's like your conscience screaming at you. So I actually, to your point earlier, I say that the original did do that Pinocchio was learning and he did know his conscience was screaming at him to smarten up. But when you're in temptation, even if you know if something's wrong, you can fall into that temptation. So I appreciate your view on it. I do. But I think that's why I stick to my view is I just they didn't utilize the conscience enough, I feel. I feel that he didn't really need Jiminy in this one. He was kind of learning on his own because Jiminy was trapped in a pickle jar for most of it.
Respect.
And in a lot of ways, that his puppet friend was like helping him learn and stuff. Like, come on.
Let's talk about the single worst part of the movie.
Let's talk about the whale in the room.
Let's talk about when they're at sea. Let's talk about when the seagle is like, I can't carry a wooden boy.
Oh, yeah.
And then proceeds to carry a wooden boy.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I forgot about the seagull completely. What was the name? Was it like Cecil or something?
I don't know.
What was that? What was
Look
that
it up
seagull's
and
name?
So here's the thing.
I forgot about that. I was laughing so hard when that happened. I'm like, who's this character?
They meet a...
What happened in the nice thrilling underwater search?
Yeah, right.
From the original.
Right. I completely forgot about that from the original until I rewatched it, and I was like, "Oh my god, I totally forgot about
this is so much better."
So here's the thing: they meet a seagull, and then they're like, the seagull knows exactly what's up. She's like, Sophia knows exactly what's up. She's like, Geppetto has been swallowed by Monstro, the giant whale, right? I can bring you there, but the problem is I can carry Jiminy. I can't carry a wooden boy. What are we to do? So what ends up happening is they like tie a rope. Yeah, and the seagull's pulling the wooden boy, and he's like jet skiing through the ocean. It's the same amount of weight, is it
it's
not?
the same weight. He's just pulling a wooden boy.
Well, there we go then.
Yeah, it made no sense.
It made no sense.
It was a terrible added character. Let's get a seagull to do it.
And then to make it...
Sophia. Like, what?
Sophia, come on.
Yeah.
And then to make matters worse, as they're jet skiing... they're literally recapping the whole movie.
That made me roll my eyes so bad. And let me just say, but right at the start of it, I don't like the fact that Geppetto wasn't swallowed by the whale yet. I liked the fact that...
So Geppetto was still on a boat in the ocean, for those who haven't seen it, and they were jet skiing.
It's like, where's Pinocchio? Where's Pinocchio? I guess I'll take to the ocean.
Sometimes you gotta take to the ocean. So they were jet skiing towards Geppetto, and they notice each other. So Geppetto's like, Pinocchio, right? And then Pinocchio's like, Dad, you're not gonna believe this, and then tells the whole story.
And I think it was supposed to be semi-comedy, but he's like, it would have worked so good if, like, because he's very, very far away. And by the time Pinocchio is done, he's still very far away. Clearly out of hearing distance. I thought he was going to be like, oh, Dad, I met this guy on his John, then I was in this thing, and then I went to Pleasure Island, and I almost became a donkey, and blah, 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 blah. I thought it was going to cut back to Geppetto, and I thought he was going to be like, what?
What?
But instead he's like, oh, all that in a day? And I'm like, I rolled my eyes like, come on.
That was so stupid.
There's no way he heard that. And I
Yeah.
know it's a movie about
Yeah.
a puppet, but come on.
Come on.
It's a puppet in a world that's been established to have, like, the same kind of physics that our world. Well, maybe not with Sophia pulling a puppet.
Well,
Imagine being a voice actor, be like, "Hey, I was in the live action Pinocchio." Oh my God, really? What part did you play? Sophia.
huh?
Who's that? The seagull.
The seagull. Huh?
I wouldn't be proud of that.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then the ending did this thing. So what happened? They got swallowed, and they made it.
They got swallowed. They got out pretty fast by the fire. But okay.
Oh yeah.
And here's the thing:
the Pinocchio's jetpack legs or whatever, like propeller legs.
I don't think so.
So like, why couldn't?
Not on my book.
So why couldn't Pinocchio just? Why did Sophia need to exist? If Pinocchio could go there himself.
This was ridiculous. So when they're out, Monstro and the Monstro fight, other than the jetpack, the jet ski leg,
fine.
Was very similar to the original actually, where it was chasing them and whatnot. But in the live action, Pinocchio's legs became a motor. And they zoomed, right, until they hit like a little cave in the wall, and then Monstro, hit the cave. He couldn't get through and whatnot. That's not what happened. That's not how life works.
And if you're going to change things, other Disney remakes have this problem too. If you're going to change things, fine. But don't make the change create a plot hole. Don't do it. Beauty and the Beast did the same thing.
And
we'll talk
also...
about that.
Pinocchio, at the end of the original, becomes a real boy.
Yeah.
At the end of the remake, it's up in the air on if he became a real boy.
They pulled like a Sleepy Hollow thing where like nobody quite knows. Some people say he became a real boy.
Hated that.
Hated that. Like there was a genuine genius to the first one where Pinocchio seemed to like have possibly lost his life. He sacrificed himself for Geppetto. He becomes a real boy. Jiminy, it was kind of like a joke. Hey, can I have a badge? Can I have a gold one? And then it happens, and Jiminy's like, I think it's swell. Mm-hmm. What a magical ending.
Right.
This one is just like, well, some people say he became a real boy, and then it like freezes out into a storybook ending. No, boo!
It did nothing for me.
The thing is, I really wanted to like this, and I'm not against live action remakes. I've liked other ones. I wanted to like this one. It just didn't. Didn't work for me.
And here's my take on it. I did enjoy it more than John did. I liked it. I had its problems. Hated some of it. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it deserved all the hate it got, because it got a lot of hate.
Yeah, perhaps didn't deserve as much hate as it got.
Yeah.
I would rank it in like the 60s, perhaps.
Yeah, because on Rotten Tomatoes it's like low 30s.
Yeah, it's like 30s. I don't know if it deserves that.
That's a little harsh.
Would you watch it again, like on your own, like just?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't know that I would. But
I wouldn't watch it regularly. Like,
I need some time, but I may watch it again. But like, it's not, it's not on my list,
right? Or at least I'll say this: I'll watch it until I roll my eyes, and then I'll turn it off.
Yeah,
But I'll make
Jiminy
the effort.
in a pickle jar.
Yeah.
Come on.
But I'll make the effort because honestly, though not great, though had its problems, charming.
Yeah. And I think Tom Hanks helped with that as well.
I'm
good casting.
I'm a big Tom Hanks fan.
And Joseph Gordon-Levitt did a good job.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Good cast. Good
Yeah.
cast, really.
Where's the first one? Where's the original one on your list? Like, is it in your top 10, top 20?
No.
No, not top 20.
Hold on. Let me think. Maybe top 20. Just because 20 is more than you necessarily think. Like, when
Right.
you actually start doing a top 20, you're like, oh, this is more than I thought.
Right.
Maybe top 20, but I have to say it would be higher, like closer to 20 than anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I have to think about it, and we'll absolutely do a Disney ranking for animated features one day. Absolutely, we'll do that. But I think it is for certain in my top 20, and I'll have to look at. I think it's, if not in the top 10, it's close to. So
Interesting.
I think it's a near perfect movie, like animation wise.
Really?
Yeah, I love it.
Strong statement.
Yeah.
But you know what I'll say to that statement?
What's that?
I'll cheers to that.
He'll cheers to it. So will I. Good sir.
I'm out.
I'm not.
Cheers.